Hello everyone, what's up? I am back with Raya on Fire, and I hope you all are liking my new tattoo. It's free. I burnt myself the other day, and it actually looks pretty nice. It's a very straight line. I might make it into like a Japanese character, so you all hear the background noise. This has been going on for a couple of hours now, and I'm losing the nice daylight, so I gotta make this video because I haven't uploaded in like a month. Without further ado, we're going to get into my top 5 favorite shows, and they're not sorta in a particular order or anything like that, but I do love these. I've been watching these since I was young. Some of them are continued, some of them are discontinued, and without further ado, let's get started. Now for number 5. So this one, I am not going to give it to you out that easy. You're going to have to guess it. This show was on Cartoon Network. I do believe it is discontinued, although you may catch it still on every now and then if you still watch cable. But yes, and this show was a tad bit different at its time. Now typically, you'll have the very bright shows like Hey Arnold, all the nice bright colors. Well, this one was a tad bit different. It was a little spooky, it was more alternative, and it was just overall more vague, if that makes sense. There was a dog, a grandmother who was very oblivious to pretty much everything that was going around her, and an evil ass grandpa. Yeah, you got it now. There you go. So this is Courage the Cowardly Dog. Now the reason why this one is on my list is because it was very different. As I stated earlier, it's very different. And when I was younger, it was like, I love scary movies, okay? I love horror films. I love anything scary. I love my adrenaline going up. At this time when I was younger, I couldn't really watch inappropriate videos and like that, although I did. But Courage the Cowardly Dog was the closest I can get to a horror movie, or a horror show in this case. And it was like, when you watched it when you were younger, it scared the crap out of you. But now that you're older and you watch it, it's just like, you can actually see why Courage is actually scared. So it's to the point in which you wouldn't even call him cowardly, because he does do some very heroic things that dogs typically didn't do. And also, now that I'm older, I do believe Courage should have went to the SPCA.
Okay, well, maybe not to the SPCA, but definitely to a very safe environment.
Because they were not treating that dog right. He was around too many out of conspiracy kind of things, ghosts and all that. Grandpa's on a whim. It was tragic, and I do believe he deserved to be in the SPCA, because I think let's just call PETA. Number 4. Now this one was a very, very good one. I'm just gonna give y'all this because y'all may not get it, maybe not. Rugrats. This is on Nickelodeon. This was a very, very great show. I love the characters in it. I love how, if you had a big family like myself, you can so easily say, oh, I'm Angelica, which is always my oldest sister. Then you'll be like, well, I'm Lil and Phil. Oh, well, I'm Chucky. Oh, I'm Tommy. And, it was really nice. And it had that great connection with it. Not only that, but they had great movies. Rugrats in Paris, Rugrats All Grown Up. And what was the other one? It was Rugrats Gone Wild. Yes, and it even has some very, very emotional parts that just make you just want to cry sometimes. Like with Chucky. Chucky was my favorite character. My least favorite was Lil and Phil. I didn't like them. I really did not like them. I just truly didn't. I guess it's because they were just so gross and just like, ugh, I couldn't have them be my kids. But other than that, that was a very, very well thought out show. But it did go downhill. Well, I believe it was the year 2000 when they first created Rugrats All Grown Up. I think this kills so many cartoon shows because it's like they just forget their brains just go out and they don't know what to talk about anymore. And so to spice it up, I guess, well, let's make a grown-up show. It's like how you have that perfect movie but then they decided to make a part 2, and it's like, no, no, we don't need a part 2. We could just left it as is. And I think when shows do this, they'll make an all grow up series. It's pretty much just telling everyone that y'all don't know what to talk about anymore. There's about 10 of y'all back there, and not one of you can think about anything else to talk about. And I tried to watch it when I was younger. I will never try to pressure myself to watch that now, or to show it in front of my nieces and nephews, because I think they will probably think this shit is whack and boring as well. For number 3, I heard about this show when I was in university. My English professors kept talking about this show over and over again, and I've heard about it, but I never wanted to care to watch it or anything like that. And I remember when I was growing up, my mom would see it on TV show, and she would just constantly flip the channel like, this is so inappropriate and dumb. She would just flip it whenever she would see it on TV. As well as King of the Hill. She would always switch that off as well. Now, this show that I'm talking about is South Park. Now, when my professor kept talking about the show, I was like, okay, let me go watch it, and I can say I have been hooked since. This show, South Park, is such a great show. I love it. I like this better than Family Guy, because I know that there was like a little people comparing the two. Family Guy is like, I think they just done too much at this point, in which it's boring. Like, we already know what's going to happen. I think the characters, their personalities are too stuck on them to the point that they're not that flexible, you know, because we already, like, their personalities became entirely who they are. So you can tell a joke just but so much about Meg until it gets boring and dumb, and that's what happened with Family Guy. But unlike that with South Park, their characters, their personalities are very flexible. And so they can talk about one thing and talk about another thing and talk about another thing and have the characters not get boring, and definitely not the jokes. Now, another reason why this show is in my top 5 is because the creators of the show, they are very, very brilliant. They are brilliant because they know how to stick up with the times. They know how to make a show. For example, when weed started coming legal, well, in some states, they started making a whole season about weed. Then they started talking about Apple agreements, and they started talking about COVID and all these other things. And this is what helps keep everything up to date. And even people make conspiracy theories about them. Well, whether these conspiracy theories are right or wrong, it doesn't really matter when it comes to the creators, because at the end of the day, anything that gets the people talking about the show will always help keep it alive. And this is why I think South Park definitely deserves to be on my top 5 list, because the creators definitely know how to keep you hooked, know how to keep the characters flexible, and never have you run out of jokes either. Number 2 on my list. Now, this show is on Nickelodeon. It has been running for years upon years upon years. It is a lot of our cartoon show favorites, okay? One of our favorites. And I'm going to tell y'all what it is. He lives in a pineapple under the sea. SpongeBob SquarePants, yes, okay. So SpongeBob SquarePants definitely 1,000,000,000% deserves to be on my top 5. Number 1 reason is that it is something that is a show that has been going on for years. That when I was younger, I definitely enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have enjoyed it as well. And if you have children, I'm sure that they enjoy it as well. And that's one thing about that show, is that it never runs out of things to talk about. Like when in the previous clips, when I was talking about Rugrats, they constantly ran out of things to talk about, which is why they had to create Rugrats Grow Up. SpongeBob, they didn't even have to do that. I just recently watched a movie with my niece and nephew. It's called SpongeBob on the Run. This is about Gary. He was kidnapped by like some mermaid prince for his serum, like, you know, snail snot, whatever. And y'all, when I tell you, it was so good. I even almost started crying. Like, I cry a lot in shows. I remember I went on a date. I went to go see Moana, and I started crying, and I didn't give a fuck at all. And I started crying a little bit, and it was so freaking good. Like, it was so good. Me and my niece, we were just watching it. She was so into it. She was like, yes, like, this is so good. And I'm very happy with the creators of the show, that they did not go with their first idea. And for those who didn't know what their first idea was that they were going to actually have SpongeBob become into like an Adult Swim kind of show, like with Family Guy, Futurama, King of the Hill. And I'm very happy they didn't go along with that, because a lot of genres can't make it in that category. They'll become popular, but they'll only last for 2 to 5 seasons. And I don't know what happens. They just stop after that. And with them taking the route of Nickelodeon, that was very, very, very smart and financially, right? And now there are some things that people do find issue with SpongeBob, like when Patrick, he had the fishnets on, he did a split in heels. Like, he did that though. He did do it. But other than that though, I don't really see anything wrong with it. Like, I don't see an issue with SpongeBob, Patrick, and fishnets. I don't know, I guess I really don't give a fuck about it. But other than that though, that show is fantastic. They know how to keep you entertained. They know how to keep your children entertained. And I really truly wish that the cast of SpongeBob continue on with the years and years and years. Because I know when the day SpongeBob stops airing and it's their last season, I'm going to cry. Okay, I'm going to cry. Because I'm like, oh my God, he's watching so many years. Now they're gone. Now, last but not least, my number 1. Okay, now this show was also on Nickelodeon. And just like SpongeBob, they were going to create the show being like an Adult Swim kind of show, right? And I'm very, very, very happy that, I'm not gonna say his name, but I'm very happy that he did not do that. Okay, the characters is of a bird, a bubblegum machine, a raccoon. I named my dog after the raccoon. I'm about to cry. Okay, let me stop crying because I don't have Rigby no more. Oh shit, I already said the name Rigby. Okay, I don't have Rigby anymore. That may have given you guys a big hint as to who I'm talking about. Regular show. Now this show, it was like, I think this show could have been very, very flexible. Now, with J.G. Quintel, when he created this show, he actually was thinking about, just like with SpongeBob, about making it into an Adult Swim kind of show. But if you look online, there is a clip, and it is called, I believe, 8 a.m., 8 p.m., something along those lines. I'll put it down below. And I love the way it went. I can definitely see how he had a great idea how this could become an adult show. And unlike what I said with SpongeBob, I think he could have made it. I think he could have made this an Adult Swim kind of category, because the way his mind works from that clip I've seen, I believe I've seen some other clips as well. They're more difficult to find though. He could have went down that category and he would have been successful. Now, he definitely was successful as well with making it like a PG show. But if he went to the Adult Swim scene, he would have been very successful in that as well. Now, one of the main reasons why this is number 1 on my list is simply because this show has helped me through so much. Like, when I was in youth university, I was sort of like a self-made outcast. And I remember I would watch this show all the time. It really lightened up my day. Like, I loved it. Like, I'm a pretty good artist, okay, I am. And I would draw the characters throughout all my notebooks, and it really helped me through a lot, you know. And if J.G. Quintel, if he makes any other shows in the near future, I would definitely watch him, hands down. I really would love if he would. You know, this time I think going into the adult section would be very great for his category, based on the few clips he has released from years ago before he put the stamp on a regular show. Alright, so that is it for this video, and I hope you all definitely enjoyed it. And I would love to know in the comment section, what is your top 5 favorite cartoon shows? And I will be uploading more regularly. I just really been in the mind frame of, I did not know what kind of channel to make this channel. I didn't know, should I make a weight loss one? But I don't care to talk about my weight loss every day. Like, my life doesn't revolve around my weight loss. And then I was like, okay, let's do motivational videos. But I think that is so boring at times. So I decided to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And I do love to talk about cartoon shows, movies, anime, how can we relate to them with our own personal lives, and so forth. So if you'd like to be on the journey with me, definitely subscribe and put on that notification bell, and I will be seeing you all next time. Bye bye.